We've got lots to talk about in this Mavericks Thunder series, and we're going to focus today on Dallas's use of the roll man, generating corner three-point shots, and I had to bring a referee in to discuss this play that had lots of people triggered. First off, some of the advanced analytics aren't making too much sense. In Game 1, the Mavs starters just killed it, and yet they get beat really easily. Now check the top played lineups in Game 2. 4 of the top 5 rotations Jason Kidd employed got outscored handily, and yet the Mavs walk away with a 9-point victory. One reason they couldn't keep up in Game 1 is because of their roll men. Time and again, they'd hit the big guy in a very advantageous position, and the Thunder would come up with a good defensive play or make their own mistake as Kyrie and Gafford can't connect on an easy pass. But I want you to notice something about the way the Thunder have defended this that explains why the roll man has struggled. SGA is guarding PJ Washington in the weak side corner, but look how early and far across the court he rotates on this inside ball screen. What would normally be a wide open roll for a dunk is stopped in its tracks by the good contest. Watch Gordon Hayward get across the midline from the weak side to be there waiting for Gafford when he catches it. It didn't help that Gafford blew a bunch of point blank shots either. It's Josh Giddey's turn to leave his man in the corner to get to the dotted line and contest this awkward attempt by Gafford, which rolls off. This is the way the Thunder want to defend the pick and roll, and in the regular season, they were an elite defensive team overall while defending the ball handler and the roll man. This continued in Game 2 as the Thunder adjusted their defensive matchups. Here they put Chet on Derrick Jones Jr. so he can be the guy rotating off the corner to the roll man to great effect on Lively. This time, they put him on Tim Hardaway Jr. so he can ignore the weak side corner and fully rotate to protect the rim, demonstrating why Lively needs more polish to his post-up game. They also leave that corner early when they want to blast Luka in the pick and roll, and with the length they've got at most positions, it causes problems for most teams. But Gafford was struggling in this role, and while defensive pressure can mount and cause issues, some of these miscues are on him. This directly relates to the whole key to this series, corner three-point shooting. By rotating so far off the shooters in the corners, they're risking giving up wide open shots when Dallas bypasses the roll man and skips it to the open spot. In Game 1, the Mavericks continually generated great looks when the low man crashed the paint and the far man didn't X out to the corner. I get not wanting to leave Kyrie, but Josh Green shot 38.3% from the corners this year. This time, you can see SGA point out the early rotation to Wiggins, then X out to the corner, but when the shooter gets to this point in their shot without anything in their field of vision, it is a completely open shot, and you're taking your chances. You can see why they wanted Derrick Jones Jr. to shoot the shot from the corner, but this time, they get Chet leaving the corner from the strong side in order to protect the rim. Giddey is slow recognizing that he needs to get to the corner, getting away with another open three from a red-hot shooter. Eventually, even mediocre shooters will get hot if you give them enough catch-and-shoot wide-open corner shots. SGA has both feet in the paint to overload to the roll man, and Luka makes the simple pass, and PJ makes them pay. Here it is again, and this time, Isaiah Joe is frantically telling Hayward he needs to be splitting the difference between the corner and the wing here. Luka is one of the few guys that will instantly recognize the mistake and fire a 50-foot pass on the money, but they dodge another bullet when Green bricks it. It's possible the Thunder are banking on the pressure of the playoffs to influence the Mavericks shooters and keep them from hitting more open shots, which in turn can cost players a lot of money on their next contracts. They might end up needing a hand in between paychecks, and that's where Dave comes in. Dave is the banking app that's leveling the financial playing field. When you download Dave, you can get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less. No credit check, no late fees. And it's all part of Dave's Extra Cash account. Advance the money you need with no interest and then settle up later. Dave started to help people avoid predatory overdraft fees, and because of that, they've saved their customers over $2.5 billion since 2017. If you're feeling the pressure of an aggressive double team and need a little help with groceries, filling the tank, or paying your rent, let Dave help. Download the Dave app or visit dave.com/bball today and let them throw you the perfect assist. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Eligibility criteria and instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve, member FDIC. Shifting to game 2, we have SGA outside the lane this time so he can get back to the corner if they don't pass to the roll man. Problem is, he wasn't prepared to explode laterally in time, and Lively can make the easy pass. PJ Washington can hit the easy shot, and the lead grows to 4 early. Despite PJ Washington already being 4 for 6 from behind the line at this point, SGA pushes the boundaries of the defensive 3-second rule by crossing the midline to wait for the roll man. Another easy pass where Gilgeous-Alexander was too far to get there and Isaiah Joe didn't X out, leaving the hottest guy in the gym to light it up again to increase the lead to double digits. Sometimes this defensive method can bleed over to the strong side, as SGA helps from one pass away off the corner, a big no-no in my book when it's someone who can shoot from there, and Josh Green can shoot from there if he's wide open. The backside rotations continue to be problematic even when they got away with it. Again, they put Chet on whoever is spotting up in the corner so he can zone up the rim, but that means Dort has to exit the corner. That said, Jones isn't a good shooter, but I suspect he'll have one game in this series where he just lights it up from downtown with all these wide open shots. Wallace ignores his man, cutting through to pseudo double team Luka out top, but it forces Hayward to hold his position on the cutting Exum, so Green gets another open shot. Doubling Luka has also led to some wide open corner threes. Joe has to rotate up to the elbow to prevent an easy drive for a layup, and that means Chet can't get out there until the ball is on its way to the corner. Otherwise, a simple pass fake would have led to a dunk from Lively. Again, no impairment of his visual field at this point means it's an open shot that he easily hits. The Mavericks are ready for the Luka double teams by spacing the floor properly. Williams would be the guy to rotate to the corner in this scenario, but he doesn't want to leave Gafford, and despite great shooting in the regular season, Exum has been miserable in the playoffs, hence why they left him open. The Mavericks can get more mileage out of Luka in the post drawing double teams. The Thunder seem to want to dare the shooters to make them, and it just feels like they're Neo in the Matrix dodging bullets fired from the agents. And that brings us to this play at the end of the third, which gave the Mavs enough separation to control the fourth quarter and win the game. This matchup between Luka and Dort is a fascinating one that deserves its own video, but on this particular play, what seemed clear to me and every ref I've talked to wasn't apparent to the announcers.
Okay, right there, that should have been an offensive.
Yeah, that was initiated by Luka.
Definitely an offensive foul.
Before I bring in a ref to explain this in detail, I want to first establish that Luka did not charge through a defender in any way. He's just trying to get to the corner to start the offensive set. And from the sudden hinging of the upper body here, you can see Dort is doing an old veteran trick to make it seem like he's being knocked over, but he's actually just helping himself to the floor and adding his left hand on the back to encourage Luka to join him. To further break this down, I had to bring in Chip Clark, a referee at the college level, and someone who is an absolute expert on the rules in the NBA. So, Chip, we need you. We need some help here because this play, I didn't think when I posted it on Twitter last night was going to cause so much of a controversy, but let's get into, maybe we should focus on the rules first and foremost because those are, that's the most important thing about this. So
Right.
walk us through what happened on this play and how the rules apply.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. So freedom of movement is a very important issue for officials in the NBA. It's actually the cornerstone behind them ruling on any illegal contact. All right. So in this particular play, you have Dort who, and I understand why it's a provocative play because, and has elicited so much controversy so far is because Dort appears to be in a legal guarding position. Here's the problem though. His right hand is holding Luka's left arm. That's the first thing that we're looking for. And then as Luka starts moving one direction, he then comes back to try to face cut Dort, and he's not able to move through cleanly. His freedom of movement is impeded by Dort having his right hand on Luka's left arm. Okay. That's when you get the body contact to come into play. All right. And so that body contact is because Luka's not able to move freely on that face cut. Now, some could argue as a defender, you don't want them to face cut. Great. I agree on that. Problem is you cannot use your hands or arms in any way to impede the freedom of movement of a player without the ball or with the ball. But as Dort feels that body-to-body contact, he starts to propel himself backwards. And as we discussed earlier, it's kind of like a pulling the chair out from under play where he starts to propel himself backwards to try to draw an offensive foul call. And as he does so, that pulls the chair out from under Luka. He starts coming forward even more, and then Dort pulls him down the rest of the way with that left arm on Luka's side. So that's what we have on this play. And as you'll see, if you go back and watch the replay of the original play-by-play, James Williams, the trail official, the calling official, actually signals a pull down. It may look like a blocking signal, but he actually signals a pull down, which is part of an impede foul or pulling the player down with them. So that's what I saw on the play. And for me, this is an obvious defensive foul.
Well, is there any notion to the fact that Luka is shoving or pushing or initiating the contact, which is what a lot of people are pointing towards thinking it should be an offensive foul?
You know what? There's a part of me that understands why they may feel that way. But no, my answer is no on that, because he obviously doesn't shove Dort with his hands or arms in any way. It's the body-to-body contact that's controversial with people, but that really only has anything to do with the fact that Dort has already impeded his freedom of movement by using his hand on his left shoulder, on Luka's left shoulder. So that body contact would be immaterial. In fact, you said this last night, and I agree with it. If they had not fallen to the floor, I don't think this foul is called.
Exactly. I truly feel like they would have let them jostle their way across the court while Luka is going to the wing or the corner, which is what's been, accepted right now in the playoffs, and what the style and the physical nature, which is fine. But I thought it does feel to me that Dort forced them to call the foul because he goes down. Why don't you think it seems hard for some people to process that Dort propels himself down to the ground? And by the way, what I've also said, this is a bit of an old vet trick where you begin to fall and then the left arm is very provocative to pull them down with you to make it look like the offensive player is pushing them down. So can you help me understand, because it's a little bit confusing to me, why when I'm watching this over and over again and studying this, why they don't see Dort is the one who is propelling himself to the ground? Really,
the only way it could be a foul on Luka here is if he displaced Dort from his legal position on the floor. So now we have to decide, was he dislodged or displaced by Luka's body contact, or is he the one that caused the contact by pulling his Luka's left arm, and then starting to propel himself backwards to pull the chair out from under Luka? Obviously, there's body-to-body contact after that hand on the shoulder, but that hand on the shoulder is preventing Luka from going in the desired direction that he's choosing. And he would not have gone through Dort otherwise. In fact, I don't think he goes through him at all. I think Dort's actions are the reason why there's body contact in the first place, and he's certainly the reason why they fall to the floor.
All great points, and hopefully this will make some people understand a little bit better and clearly what's going on here. Because again, this is one of those things where he's trying to get the ref to give him the call. He's very physical the whole game, which I really enjoy watching this matchup. It's really exciting to see.
Yeah, it's a good one.
But at some point you got to realize that it's not. I guess there's also superseding rules here. So freedom of movement tends to overcome any kind of notion of dislodging of the opponent. And I also feel like, to take a charge, he's trying to take a charge up on the top of the key. This is not a place where you would normally see a charge being taken, right?
No. This is literally Dort's actions are very consistent with the notion that he is impeding the player without the ball, the offensive player without the ball's freedom of movement to move in their desired direction. And the fact that he pulls himself or throws himself down and pulls Luka down with him is actually consistent with things that we've seen Dort do in the past. I'm not saying he's one of those type players, but I think we mentioned either in game one, I believe, of this series, he did get called for another pull down foul as well.
Absolutely. Great call. Well, Chip, thank you so much for breaking this down for us and explaining it in a great way. And looking forward to doing more with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Coach Nick.
So if this is all about risk reward, then the Thunder are going to have to live and die by how they're defending the Mavericks offense. In game one, the Thunder made 16 threes while the Mavericks hit 12. In game two, the Mavericks got an even bigger advantage at 18-10. Over the past 3 seasons, teams that score 8 or more threes than their opponents win those games at an 87% clip. Interestingly, when the Thunder got outscored at all from the three-point line, they were just about 500 no matter how big the advantage was to the other team. This formula seems to be working for them, and it'll be up to the Mavericks spot-up corner shooters to decide this series.